Brothers and sisters, good evening. My name is Baldeo, and I wanted to bring a few thoughts and share a few ideas with you this evening. One is my opposition to the ranked choice voting system that they want to put in from a charter commission in the next elections in November. I think we should vote against it. Simple reason being is that it's not a wise idea. I believe that the choice of the first person should be the elected person and not this kind of averaging out or taking the mean, so to speak, of the votes. More importantly, I believe that this will put back the civil rights victories and causes we have advanced over the years, whereby you would have these many different groups of people who have the means to do so, to shut out minority candidates and to coalesce against them. And hence, and it's not going to bring a lot of confusion into the voting system. So as Archie Spigner said, if it ain't broke, don't let us have to fix anything. Let's go with what we've got. In 2004, I ran against a Republican county chairman who was there for 30 years. They call him a do-nothing senator, and I ran against him without any support from the Democratic Party at that time. However, the point here is that I ran because he wanted to legalize racial profiling, meaning that people of color and minorities, the disadvantaged, the oppressed, working families will be subjected to illegal and unequal treatment under the law and be subjected to searches and people entering their homes, stopping them in their cars, treating them like common criminals. Are saying that bill was sponsored, saying it was something that will root out terrorism. Time has shown that that is a racist bill, an ill-conceived bill, and it has shown that it was wrong to do so. And I was glad I ran because that sounded the death knell for that state senator in terms politically speaking, and he was voted out of office. I almost beat him I lost by 500 votes, half a percentage point. The reason I bring this up is because he was able to maintain that seat, because I got 17,000 votes on the Democratic line, and Surf Maltese got 14,000. That was a state senator. He was, however, able to just pip me by half a percentage point or 500 votes because there's fusion voting in New York State, which is unlike many other states, whereby he was able to combine the votes of different party lines, the Conservative Party, the Independent Party, and some other parties he was able to put together with the Republican Party, and he was able to aggregate me out, and I only had the Democratic Party line. Unfortunately, the Working Families Party betrayed me, and I had won the line at the hearing, but for reasons that are politically motivated or for whatever corrupt reasons it was, I was not given that line. And I hope that does not happen to anyone, because if we had gotten the Working Families line, as it should be, because that I was a candidate who fit all of their agenda and their aims and objectives, and yet they were playing this kind of oddball politics to to say we're going to endorse and not living up to what the party really should stand for in principle. That was in 2005. We have now come to different ways whereby they try to neutralize or marginalize the minority vote, and this is one of the ways with fusion voting and this other type of voting that I want to have passed. We are against it. Secondly, I think it's against the principles of the Democratic Party and the U.S. Constitution to have these different types of voting all calculated and then put into different categories and then rung them up. I don't think that's the right way to do. It should be who is the choice of the voter should prevail, who has the highest number of votes. Secondly, I want to talk to you about getting empowered, uplifted. You have to register and vote, become U.S. citizens, exercise that franchise, and live up to that constitutional right, live up to the aims and fundamental reasons in America. You're an American citizen, you have to go out and vote, you have to register, you have to participate more in your civic affairs. You've got to have a better say for you to access government services and for you to have a say in how your affairs and how much funding is allocated to your community. Which brings us to my last point, the census. Make sure everybody is counted. People in the basement, people in the attic, encourage them. That question as to whether you're a U.S. citizen may most likely be upheld. That the court has said that it's illegal to have it there, and we hope that after the entire legal process that remains so. It should be that you should not be afraid, because that information will not be given to law enforcement or to the Department of Homeland Security to deport such people who choose to exercise that fundamental right of being counted, that every 10 years the census then allocates. That is our government. It's part and parcel of government. We should not be deporting people because of that. We should not be victimizing them because they exercise their right to be counted, so that their communities can have fair and proper funding proportionate. Worse yet, we can lose 2 congressional seats. And hence, you don't want to have that, because we'll have a very stagnated voice. And we need to actually build, not take away. New York has been suffering a lot of disenfranchisement, a lot of marginalization of communities of color especially. And in communities like Richmond Hill and Ozone Park, we have never gotten our fair of funding, fair share of attention, fair share of government services. That has to change. It can only change from you. You've got to make sure that you're counted. Your voice must be heard. And your voice is your vote. Your voice is your census participation and counting. And those are the 3 thoughts I want to leave you with tonight. You will be hearing more from me as we continue this program. And this is Albert Baldeo, community advocate, advocating for you and asking you to stand with me and to follow and to propel the causes, so we can have a better life and truly live the American dream, not only for ourselves, but for generations to come. Thank you and good night.